Welcome and thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be taking a look at the range of Strata plasma cutters. We've got the EziCut40, the AdvanceCut45, the AdvanceCut80 and 125. Now the EziCut40 and AdvanceCut45 look pretty similar, but we're going to do a bit of testing with them and see is there a difference between the two machines. Now what I would say with plasma cutters, yes there's some cheap machines out there, but not all plasma cutters are created equal. We know with the Strata range we have a 4-year warranty. We've got good backup and support in New Zealand. But there's a real difference in power and output compared to some of the other brands. On the cheaper units, you'll see what's called a PT31 torch. These are really common. You can see them on a lot of those Chinese websites where you can buy a machine cheap. You think, great, hey look, I bought a plasma. And you get it home, and next thing you find it eats a lot of consumables. So with the cheaper torches, they have to be very close to the surface. And of course with plasma, when you're cutting, you get a lot of metal flying back at your torch. So within a short space of time, your tip's gone, your electrode's gone, and you're having to buy new parts for it. With the Strata gear, we have what's called a draw arc system. So with draw arc, you have an electrode and a tip. You engage the signal, the electrode's pulled back, it creates an arc. Air forces past the arc and blows it out the end of the tip, which creates our plasma flame. The neat thing about having a draw arc system is you have that pilot arc working. So if you've got a rusty surface, you've got paint on it, whatever, it'll clean that before it starts cutting. So with the single phase units, they come with a 15 amp plug on it. For those who haven't seen 15 amp plugs before, you'll notice it's got a bigger earth pin. Now sure, I've seen people do the dodgy with these and modify the plug. Now a couple of things I'd say with that. One, it's illegal, so if your shed burns down and the insurance man comes through and finds an illegal plug, then you can have that discussion and not us. Two, these machines draw a lot of current. So on the EziCut40, I think it's around 30 amps worth of current. So if you're modifying that plug, you're literally strangling your machine and you're not going to get the full performance. What I would say is buy good quality leads, talk to your Sparky, you're spending the money on a good quality machine, get the good quality power to it, and you'll get a better quality cut. The EziCut40 and AdvanceCut45 come with an XT4000 torch. It's a neat bit of gear, it's been around for a long time, and you've got a range of consumables going from 20 through to 60 amps. On the XT4000 torch, you'll notice you can run a drag guide. The purpose of the drag guide, it holds the torch off the surface and it prevents the tip from getting damaged in the cut. On the bigger machines, on the AdvanceCut80 and 125, we run a TH125 torch. Again, this is a draw arc torch, so it's pulling that electrode back from the tip to start it. And this is an excellent system when you're using them with CNC tables. Now the 80 and 125 come pre-set up to run with all of our CNC tables. What I've seen with many of the other brands out there, they say our machine is CNC ready. And you go buy a table and hello, all of a sudden you're paying a Sparky to modify your plasma because it doesn't fit with your table. Ours is set up to run with all of our tables. It's almost a plug and play situation. When looking at cut settings or maximum cut settings, you'll see there's several different ratings for these machines. So you have production cut, you've got max cut, and you've got severance cut. So production means on a CNC type situation or a machine type situation where it's having to go into the center of a sheet, make a pierce, and then start, then go somewhere else, make another pierce. So it can continuously cut clean at that rate. So the next setting is maximum cut. So max cut, coming in from the side, we're starting on the edge of our plate. This is the maximum we recommend you cut with that torch and that plasma. And we expect that you will get a nice clean finish on that cut. The last, of course, is severance cut. Now severance cut is potentially past its peak clean cutting expectations, but it might be that you get it to that depth and you might have to tap it with a hammer just to finish the cut off. I was quite interested to see how the EziCut went against the AdvanceCut45. What was going to be the difference in performance? I mean, essentially they're both 40 amp rated machines. It was quite interesting once we plugged it in and had a play. So initially we started off doing some 6mm plate, and here we can see the two comparisons. So 6mm plate, both machines, piece of cake, right? We moved on to 10mm, yep, again both went through the 10mm at reasonable speed for a single phase machine. Once we got to 16mm plate, then the difference became clear. Now, to go back looking at the two machines, what's the difference between the EziCut40 and the AdvanceCut40? Essentially, the AdvanceCut40 has a system where it maximises the power it receives. So if we look at the input current, on an EziCut40, we have a maximum draw of 32 amps. So that's a heck of a lot of current, and remembering that's constant current. So if I turn it up to 40 amps, I can expect the machine's drawing 32 amps of current all the time. So we started cutting with the EziCut40, and on the 16mm plate, we had a 20 amp breaker in our shed, and within, I don't know, 5-10 seconds, the breaker popped. We reset it, we cut a bit more, the breaker popped again. We got through our 16mm plate, but it was slow going. What I'd say to you is, if you're going to invest in the EziCut40, again, make sure you've got some really good power in your shed. It may be worth putting a 32 amp single phase plug on the end of your machine and running it through its 32 amp breaker in your shed. So again, you'd probably need to have a talk to a Sparky about what's the maximum you can run through your power system. So we tried the same cuts again with the AdvanceCut45. The 10mm plate, piece of cake. 16mm plate, breakers didn't pop. So the power factor correction or the system within the 45 really does work. We then went on to the 20mm plate. So when we tried it with the EziCut40, again our 20 amp breaker wasn't up to it and it just didn't let the power through. But with the AdvanceCut45, actually we got through that 20mm plate with not too many worries. So if we actually look at current draw between the EziCut40 and the AdvanceCut45, EziCut40 is 32 amps. AdvanceCut45 is 21 amps. So that's a big difference, and again we were able to cut at full capacity through a 20 amp breaker in our shed. Putting them on a generator, that means that the EziCut40 you're going to need at least a GT10000, so around 9 kVA, whereas the AdvanceCut45 you can run it from a 6 kVA generator. Now what I'd say in regards to generators, the bigger the better. You can't have too much power. You're better off running it through a big system and having surplus power rather than making it slave and work hard. So with the EziCut40 and the AdvanceCut45, one other bit of information that's quite important is the duty cycle. So at 40 amps on the EziCut40, again we need to give it really good power compared to the AdvanceCut, but we've got a 20% duty cycle. For a lot of people, you're just doing you're cutting a short bit of steel off and you're not on the trigger all day. It's a bit different to MIG welding where you're pouring steel all day. You cut the job, you move on to the next thing. Equally so, the EziCut40 has a 20% duty cycle at full amps compared to the 45 has a 40% duty cycle. So it's got twice the duty cycle of the EziCut. So here we've got a 20mm bit of plate. We tried this before with our AdvanceCut45 and it did it well. If we switch to a 3-phase machine and 80 amps, you can see the speed that we get through this bit of plate. Piece of cake. So then I thought, okay, look, let's give it a go on a 30mm bit of plate. And yes, okay, a little bit slower, but it easily did it. What I would say though is, if you start pushing the plasma to the edge of its cutting capacity, then quite often you end up with a bevel on your plate. It's not cutting straight and true. Equally so, remember that I was cutting this by hand, and if you had it in a machine that was holding a torch directly straight up and down, you'd get a different result. So moving on to the AdvanceCut125, I've cut 30mm with this before, so I knew it would do it, but this morning I managed to get a piece of 40mm. Now check this out. Okay, again, like I'm cutting by hand, and there's going to be a bit of angle because my hand's not perfect, but an EziCut 40mm plate, and I'm inclined to believe the chart that says it can cut up to 50. In short, neat bit of gear. I've been selling these Strata machines for many years, and again, I would say on the single phase, give them good power, you'll get a result that will last for years. The 3-phase machines have been absolutely bulletproof, and I highly recommend them. The whole range with all Strata products, again, we stand behind them, we're proud to sell them, great bit of kit. So in summary, when looking at the two machines, the EziCut40 and the 45, the initial outlay and cost for the 40 is sure, it is reduced to the 45, but the performance and power draw and not having to potentially change your breakers in your shed might make it with 45 worth a look. So with the 3-phase machines, again, there's going to be a cost difference between the 80 and the 125. Again though, you can see the 80 is actually a pretty powerful machine. If I was running a cutting table and I was cutting 20mm or above, I would definitely go for the 125. For a lot of hand cutting purposes, you'll probably find the 80 is more than enough for what you need. If you're not sure about your application or whether one machine is going to best suit you or not, That's what telephones are for. Give us a call, we're happy to talk to you. So just to recap on why Strata, again, all the spare parts are here in New Zealand. Quite often for a machine that's 10 years old, you can still find the spare parts. Something goes wrong, you've got backup and support. There's a 4-year warranty on the whole range, and we're proud to stand behind this product. Appreciate your time and thanks for watching.